Hello everyone and welcome to the third devlog of Paramythic, my first indie game in UE5. In today's devlog, we're gonna make the base for the combat of the game, an attribute system, and a very basic AI implementation. I know it's been a long time since the second devlog, but I had a lot of work to do, so without further ado, let's get started. I wanted to make the game using the gameplay ability system, which is a system made by Epic Games and using games like Fortnite. What gameplay ability system is a framework made of abilities, effects, and cues. An ability is an action that an actor performs, the effects are responsible for attribute changes and the ability costs and cooldowns, and the cues that are the visual part of the abilities, such as particle and sound spawning. Both of these three communicate with each other with gameplay tags. Any actor that has an ability system component has some attributes defined in C++. In my game, these attributes are health, stamina, mana, defense, and attack damage. Stamina is drained by all the combat actions such as attacking and dodging. Mana is used to cast some magical abilities, more on that in the next devlog. And defense and attack power are used to calculate the appropriate amount of health each attack should take away. To initialize these attributes, I made a data table in Excel and set it in the ability system component of my character's blueprint. I then made a widget that takes the information from my character every time an attribute changes and shows it to the screen. I also made a gameplay effect that regenerates the stamina when the player doesn't perform any action. Okay, now it's time to break down the combat itself. For now, my only weapon is short because I don't have any other animations. I added a new overlaid state to my animation blueprint to add the short locomotion, but because the ALS doesn't support pelvis and leg animation layering by default, I had to create and add the corresponding curves to every single animation in the game. I made a blend space for the movement and added it to the short overlay. I then took all of my attack animations and added some notifies. The executed notify sets the combat state of the character every time it's called by adding the appropriate gameplay tag. The combat states are idle, attacking, dodging, and stunned, and they are used to prevent someone from attacking while dodging or dodge while stunned. The attack trace notify state enables and disables the short collision that detects if an enemy was hit. The set attack combo number is used to determine the next attack of the combo. There are two types of combos, the light one and the heavy one. Finally, the counter notify state is used so that when the enemy blocks in this time frame, he parries the incoming attack. Now let's see the light attack gameplay ability, since all the others are pretty similar. If the character is able to attack, the appropriate animation is selected by the current attack number and it gets saved into a variable called current montage. Then I change the level of the ability to be the same of the attack combo number to make some calculations later for the attack damage, and the ability gets activated. Inside the ability, I first check again if the player can attack, for example if he doesn't have enough stamina. Then I check if he's attacking a parried enemy. If he does, he performs a kick move and lays the enemy on the ground. Else, I disable the root motion for some milliseconds to let the player change the direction of the attack and rotate him to the targeting enemy. While the montage is playing, the ability waits for a gameplay event that gets sent if an attack trace collides with an enemy. I made a system that takes the top and the bottom points of each short model, and with some vector calculations it creates these traces. If an enemy is hit, the gameplay event is sent to the ability and it triggers a gameplay cue. In the cue, I check if the enemy that got hit was blocking, and if he was, I play a block animation and spawn a Niagara particle system I made to indicate the block. If he wasn't, I calculate the hit reaction animation, I spawn a particle system to the impact point, and I start making the damage calculations. I add the weapon's attack damage to the player's attack damage and multiply this with the attack combo multiplier based on a table I made in Excel, and finally I divide it with the enemy's defense power. To be able to fight though, I had to make a simple AI. First of all, I made an AI controller to store all of the functions that my AI performs. Then I made a behavior tree to run this code. I made a service that runs every 100 milliseconds that updates all of my variables, such as the distance from the player, the direction he's facing, and more. And then, if my AI isn't stunned, I check if the player is attacking. If he does, I call the counter or dodge task that performs a dodge, a block, or nothing at all. If the player is not attacking but is close to the AI, it dodges back. If the player is in attack range, it performs an attack. And finally, if he isn't in attack range, the AI performs a ranged attack, makes a short trick, or just comes closer to the player. My AI system is very basic but yet effective. Okay, now I think it's time for some gameplay. That's it for today, guys. In the next devlog, we'll make some abilities and maybe fix some of the graphics. And before we end the video, I wanted to tell you that I know all of this looks simple and easy, but making games is way harder than it looks. So please, if you like the video, hit the like button, and I'll see you all in the next devlog.